Oh, listen to his tail. Listen.
Good boy. You feel handsome now? You feel so handsome now? Huh? Yay! Jump. Sit. Jump. Good boy. Okay, come on. Let's go. Let's go run some errands.
Puka, you're gonna have a yard, buddy.
Yeah? You're gonna have a yard.
Puka, come on, boy. Hey, buddy. Mommy and Daddy love you.
Okay. Oof. I don't even know how to start this video, so let's just shake all of it off. Okay. Whew. This is a video I never wanted to make, but because Puka Shell was such a pivotal part of not just my life, but of my subscribers' life. He's been with us on my channel the whole ride. I could not just hop back online and pretend like this big event did not happen. So you know by now from the title of the video what this video is about, and it's to share with you guys Puka Shell's life because he passed on Friday at 4:30 in the morning in our arms. He had a vet appointment on Friday later in the morning, and on Thursday we knew something was really wrong, but we didn't think that it would happen the way it did. It just kind of suddenly happened. He was not doing well Thursday night, and then we were up all night with him, and he just chose to go on his own terms. So he passed really peacefully in James's arms specifically, and I think it's really beautiful that he let us be with him while he passed, and we're grieving big time. I feel like my face feels bruised. Like I have cried so much that I'm like, I don't know if I can cry anymore, and then I do. I've definitely had my fair share of grief, but losing a pet that literally is your companion in everything. Like obviously I work from home and Puka's just with me all the time. If I'm filming, if I'm walking into another room, if I'm outside, if I'm inside, if I'm watching TV, if I'm just hanging out, he's just always been with me. So it's a very bizarre feeling to not have him. This dog permanently changed my heart, permanently changed the way I see animals, permanently changed James and I. Like as a couple, changed both of us, absolutely changed James. And I think I'm going to miss that the most, is seeing him with Puka, because it's just the sweetest thing, just how caring he was toward Puka, and just both of us lit up in a different way when it came to our approach with Puka. And he brought that out of each of us. And if you're a pet owner, you know what I mean. Like the octave of your voice changes and your whole mannerisms and everything, just like so much joy is brought out of you. And there's such a special, specific bond. And also like there's a bond between James and I about just how much we love our dog and how like we talk about our dog a lot and all of our like Puka stories. And did you see Puka do this? Oh, he was outside, he did that. And it's just like all of it is just yanked away. It's really, really tough. I'm gonna get started getting ready. This is the first time that I am getting ready since this happened. I literally could not be bothered to even wash my hair, let alone brush it, just nothing. Like this hit me so hard, and it's really showing me just how much I love that little dog. Okay, so these rings have got to go. My rings always drive me nuts when I'm doing my makeup. Okay, this, by the way, is a miracle worker. The In Beauty Project Bright and Tight Eye Cream definitely helps with this situation. Like my eyes, oh my gosh, at ice roller, I was putting on my eye patches just because like it's painful, like not even in a get ready vanity way, but like literally from like rubbing your eyes with Kleenex and crying and rubbing, like my under eyes are just shot right now. Okay, so this is not even going to be like the best makeup. If you came here for a tutorial, you came to the wrong place, because I just need to go through the motions and like put some makeup on and feel like I can face the day. It's important to me to move forward and not get stuck. I fully admit that I'm a person, when things happen, I can tend to get a little depressed for maybe a little too long, and I don't want that to happen. So I am forcing myself to sit down here and just share with you guys what is going on, put on some makeup, and face the day. So my schedule changed a little bit. I have really big things to announce to you guys regarding the Tati list, and that is going to be pushed to next Thursday. It was going to be today, but I just couldn't get it together, and I needed time to process what's going on. So we delayed things a week, but I do want to let you guys know that there is an email being sent out tomorrow, and it will roll through the weekend and Monday. So everyone will have the email by Monday. But just the way that they process things, sending out the emails, it'll kind of slow roll on Friday to Monday. Be sure that you check that nothing went to spam. It's super important that you receive this email. If you're not on the Tati list, links and everything regarding it will be in the description box below. Yeah, I just imagined that this time in my life would be a lot different. Like, I just imagined this week going so differently than it has. And, you know, sometimes that's life. So I think James and I, like, we really loved our dog in maybe an extreme way. Like, I know lots of people have pets, and like I had pets growing up, and this feels so just different. I don't really know why. He was such a special, special dog. Like, this dog everyone loved, and everyone just had such great things to say about Puka Shell. He had such a big soul. He would look you directly in the eyes. He would always know when I was upset. He was just so in tune with my emotions. Like, if I was ever having a bad day or whatever drama was going on, he would run to my side and like put his little paw on me, and like he would always know when I needed him. And it was just, I had never had that before with an animal. Is this foundation way too light for me or what? We're just gonna put on some bronzer with that. I look like the freaking Joker. Are you kidding me right now? So I thought I would share with you guys the origin story of Puka Shell. I don't know that all of you are up to speed on just how Puka entered my life. And I don't know that many of you even know that at first I didn't want Puka Shell. And like, that just pierces me right through the heart right now. But Puka Shell was born on Maui and belonged to James's mom, Linda, who at the time was bedridden. And we were going to visit Linda every chance we got. We would go stay with her, and, you know, we knew she wasn't doing well, that her health wasn't doing great, and it was important to go out there and be with her. James's stepdad had passed away, so it was just Linda, and she got this little dog. And I remember she emailed me, and she's like, I think it said, "Meet Maui's finest, little baby Puka Shell." And it was a picture of Puka. And I remember getting this email and thinking that this woman was crazy. Like, why would you go and get a dog? Like, you are bedridden. Like, why would you dare get a dog? Like, oh my gosh. And I was like, and it's a Maltese. And like, I already knew I like Maltese dogs, obviously, especially now, but like, that wasn't my dream dog at the time. And I was like, I just feel like we know where this is headed. I feel like your mom's health is not doing the greatest and that we're just going to be like stuck with this dog. And I know that that might be the worst story ever. I'm just being like fully honest with you guys, that at the time I was like, no, like I don't want this dog. Like, I had a vision for my life of a different kind of a dog. And like, I thought me and James would like pick out our own dog. And so I was kind of pissed off. And so the first time I met Puka Shell, I already was like kind of resentful. I was like, great, like gonna have to deal with you, you know, like I was like kind of pissed off. And the first trip that we went out there and actually got to meet Puka Shell, I didn't like him. I had major issues with Puka Shell. I was like, this dog is so spastic. He is running around everywhere like crazy. I mean, he was a puppy, but he was running around everywhere and he would not stop licking me, and he'd lick my ankles and he'd like follow me everywhere. And the first visit, I was just like, like, I'm just not into this. Like, I'm not into this. I don't know why your mom would get a dog. The second time we went out to see Linda, these were like, it was like maybe a month and a half, 2 months apart. We'd really try to go out there. And the second trip out there was really when I started connecting with Puka. He, for some reason, instead of being with Linda, he would come outside the room where James and I were staying, and he would just sleep there. And I remember going like to open the door to go to the bathroom, and I'm like, what the heck is this dog doing? Just like sleeping here. And I started thinking that was really cute. And then I slowly was like, maybe we can like take him in the room with us, and he would sleep on the bed with us. And I remember thinking, this dog is so freaking weird. Like, literally in the middle of the night, I would wake up and he would be standing on top of me, like his little paws, and he'd just be like looking down at me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this dog is bizarre. I'd like see his silhouette in the moonlight and his little paws, and he's looking down at me. And I just fell in love. We were on the plane leaving one time, and like my heart, I was like, I miss Puka Shell. Like, I can't wait to come back because I really, really, I love that dog. I love that dog. And it just turned into this love affair, and James and I both just really fell in love with him. And Linda had Puka for 2 years. Puka was 2 years old when Linda passed. And that was a really traumatic thing to go through. That was really, really hard on James. He talked to his mom like all of the time. Like, if it wasn't every day, it was like every other day. Like, they talked a lot. It was a big hit for him. And so Puka became a tie to James's mom. So going through that chapter where we lost James's mom was really difficult, but we were so grateful for Puka. We were so happy that we had him, how he reminded us of Hawaii, how he reminded us of Linda. And we just thought it was the funniest thing that she knew. Like, somehow she knew that we were going to need this dog. And it's so cool to look back and be like, wow, I had a bad attitude about it at first. I didn't want it. But sometimes you don't know what you need. And I'm so grateful that she got that dog and that we got to love him for the past decade. It's doing so good. Honestly, like, it's not even funny. I don't think I have more tears inside of me. And then somehow they come up. So we got Puka Shell. Neither one of us really knew how to care for this itty bitty animal. He was so small when we got him. But like, we just like take him for our walks and try to play with him. And I just remember it being like kind of awkward. Like, we're like, we don't really know what we're doing. The first night that we had Puka, we put him in a crate. Smart dog. Like, really smart dog. The crate situation did not last long. We thought like, this has to happen because let me tell you, this dog was not potty trained. Okay. And that was like a big fear of mine. I was like, this dog is terrible. He's peeing in the house. You literally, I kid you not, you would take the dog for a 45-minute walk. We'd do this in Hawaii. We'd walk through the neighborhood. We would take him on the longest walk. He would come home, and what would he do? He'd run straight in the house and crap in the living room. And it would be like, I don't even know what to do with this. So our solution, because I was really concerned about this, I was like, I don't want a dog that is going to the bathroom every 2 seconds. Like, no, thank you. So we got a crate. And then the first night in his crate, he somehow had the most explosive diarrhea I've ever seen an animal have. Like, this little white dog was covered in diarrhea, and literally we woke up and I'm like, oh, like, what is that smell? What is that? And I look over at the crate and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And James and I hopped out of bed so fast. He was like, I've got the dog, you got the crate. And he's like hosing him off in the shower, sudsing him down. I'm on the patio hosing the whole thing down and cleaning it. And in the weirdest way, it was like such a cool moment for us, because I was like, yeah, like we're like such a team, and like we can handle anything. Like if things go upside down, like we're both so equipped to like jump into action and help one another. And so we even saw that as like a cool thing. And then long story short on that one, the dog never slept in a crate again. We donated the crate. Like it was over. He got his way. He was like, this is not for me. And so I will be wild and free, thank you. And I'm not sleeping in that. I don't know if I've shared this story online or not. I'm kind of like, we've been laughing about like our favorite Puka moments. So that's kind of like where some of this is coming from. So Puka did ultimately become more house trained. And he was just like a good boy. He didn't chew anything up. He was really obedient and like wasn't like a naughty dog, you know? But we lived in an apartment at the time, and he had a barking issue. And he also had an issue where in our elevator, there was a mirror on the ceiling. Puka would look up if we were going to take him for a walk, and he would flip out. Like he'd be growling, and he'd like, his body was so little at the time, he'd be jumping around, and he'd literally be like, we're like, this dog is gonna like injure himself. Like, oh my gosh, like what can we do to get this dog to calm down? Like he has behavior issues. Like we need to handle this. And so naturally, because we lived in LA at the time, we decided to have a pet communicator come over, because that is totally normal and what you do when you have a new animal that's not behaving. The woman we had come over as a pet communicator, this is legitimately her job. She's a horse whisperer, and she's done things with LAPD. Like it's not even a bunch of, well, it feels very like, oh yeah, okay. But like this is her job. And so we're like, okay, like, do we think this will work? Like, I don't know, but like, gosh, I mean, it's worth a try. So let's have her come over. And she came over, and it was honestly, it was so weird. It was so weird. Like I was having a hard time with it. I was like, yeah, right. Okay. We just lost a couple $100. Like this is not going to work. Like what were we thinking? This is dumb. So she's literally talking to my dog, like full conversation, like out loud. I will never forget this. Like she's like, what's that, Puka? What's that, Puka? Oh, I understand. And I'm like, what do you want? Like, what do you understand? So the pet communicator is, she's communicating with my dog fully, like fully. They are having a great time talking things out. This is a moment that we think is funny, like James and I think is funny. Is it funny? I don't know. Okay, so there was a moment where she's like, James, Puka loves you. Puka loves you so much, James. Oh my gosh. Puka's like, I love James. I just love James. And Tati, he likes you. And I literally stood up from the couch and I was like, excuse me. And I had to go in the bedroom and I like started crying. Like I was like, I gotta like mend things with this dog, because clearly he knows that when I first heard about him, I didn't want him. And now like we have issues and like I gotta sort that out. So that was like a funny moment. And I was like, yeah, right. He loves me. I think you are fake. And I don't believe what's going on here. And I don't even know why we're doing this, you know? And I kind of even more was like, this is ridiculous. Then we're like, hey, the thing that we really need help with here is actually his behavior in the elevator, because he thinks that the mirror on the top is another dog and it's really getting out of control. So she's talking with Puka and she's like, okay, Puka is saying that when he gets in the elevator, he's very confused. And he just gets confused. And we're like, okay, we get that. Like, but maybe he could like, shh, like work really hard to not be confused. And she's like, okay. And then she comes back. She tells us that Puka would like to know that if he doesn't bark in the elevator, could he have a treat? And I'm like, we're not negotiating with him like this. No. He's like, well, okay, maybe if there's no treat, then maybe like one small bark. Like it was just kind of a little bit ridiculous. And we're like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. We're like, mm-mm. So it was a whole thing. She leaves. What do I need now? Put on some lip liner real quick here. Okay. The animal communicator leaves. James and I are rolling our eyes so hard. We're like, well, that was interesting. Ha ha ha, right? Couple hours later, we're going to take Puka for a walk and we're already like joking with each other like, yeah, haha, let's see what happens in the elevator. And I kid you not, we get in the elevator and Puka looks down at the floor and then he like kind of looks up and then he goes, and he like shakes his head and he's literally like staring at the floor like, oh, I know I'm not supposed to look up there. And James and I were both like, what the heck is happening? Because every single time, like clockwork, this dog was freaking out at the ceiling. And for some reason, after that day, our dog turned into a precious little angel that did not bark at the ceiling. And when we had to go run an errand, he no longer was barking like crazy. He would still get kind of out of control when he would see other dogs. He was not like the most social dog, but he, like those bigger issues were just like gone. It is still such a weird story to me. And this woman is a friend of my mom's. She's great. It was pretty wild. My other favorite Puka story is when we went to San Bruno to go and visit YouTube headquarters. I was speaking on a panel and we drove there from LA. We got there late at night and we're going to go check into the hotel and we're standing in the lobby and all of a sudden we hear this voice. It's this like man's voice and he's like, can I pet your dog? And we turn around and it's freaking Dave Chappelle. We're like, yes, like please pet my dog. And he pet the dog and then he ended up holding Puka for a little bit and just like loving on Puka. And we got in the elevator and went up to our room. We're like, that was so crazy. We unpack a little bit. We're going to go take Puka out. And I'm holding Puka and the elevator doors open. And it's Dave Chappelle again. And he's just standing there. He's literally just standing there. And he's like, I love that dog. And I'm like, this is so hilarious. Like, this is actually one of the funniest moments of my life. Like, what is even happening? Like, Dave Chappelle is popping up here, there, everywhere, complimenting my dog. And so he got in the elevator again, and he's like loving on Puka again. Later that evening, James is going to walk Puka for the night, runs into Dave Chappelle again. And it's like the same encounter. And so we were joking around. We're like, so how much money, like if he offered us for like this dog? And it just became like this stupid running joke. We're like, will we charge for like one night if he just needed like to cuddle and like some like playtime? So it became this stupid joke about Dave Chappelle and I love that dog. That's something we'd always say between the two of us, and we'd know about that night where randomly a celebrity was just absolutely in love with our little Puka shell. I love that dog. And Puka literally, by the way, would let you hold him like a little baby. So if strangers were like, oh my gosh, can I hold him? He was so down. You just grab him like a little baby and he'd just lay there and you could just pet him. And he wasn't that kind of dog that would like freak out and be like, no, like don't touch me. Like he was so cuddly and so soft. So one of my other like beautiful memories of Puka, like probably because it was toward the end, like more recent. After Erica's wedding, goodness sakes, the drama in my life, you guys, like there have been so many trials. So my grandmother almost died at my sister's wedding. That is not funny, but it's like that happened. And she had to stay out in Florida, like she couldn't get on a plane. And so James and I stayed out there as well a little bit longer. We're like, hey, let's like make the most of it. We'll get an Airbnb. We ended up getting a place in Fort Myers. And I so enjoyed that time. Those memories I will cherish forever because as a little family, we would literally go out to watch the sunset and take a walk on the beach every single night. That was like our routine. It would be like the sun's going down, like let's head out to the beach and let's go for a walk. And dogs would be running around and we let Puka run around wild and free. And he just had the best time running on the beach and was just so happy, loved the beach, like he was fully in his element. And so many strangers would like walk up to us and they'd ask about Puka. And there was this one little boy that was petting Puka and he must have been like 4 or 5 years old, just so sweet, was petting Puka and looks up at me and goes, his feathers are so soft. And that became a thing for a while too, his feathers. I thought that was the cutest thing ever. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, they are. You know, because he was just not like some dogs have hair that's like a little bit rough. He literally was like a cuddly little stuffed animal. He was so soft and just so special. I miss him so much. I don't even know what I'm doing at this point. Look, these eyebrows. Oof. My face doesn't even feel like my face right now. Okay, let's slap on a little eyeshadow. I've been wanting to try this one out. Oh, something that happened here that is like one of the funniest things that Puka did here in Texas. James and I would always put Puka in our bedroom whenever we would have to go to the grocery store. We're going to a place where Puka couldn't come with us. And that's where he had this big, huge bed and all his toys. And we just felt that he felt more secure and safe and comfortable just in one room. It just always seemed to stress him out to be in a bigger space, like to have the whole house. So we'd always have our routine. We would literally have to spell. We'd be like, are you R-E-A-D-Y? We'd do all our things to kind of get ready and put Puka in the room and we'd leave. And this one night, we come back and James immediately hands me Puka and he's like, go outside right now. Like no explanation, like his voice is like super intense and I'm just like, okay, like, oh my gosh, like what is going on? And he's like, I think there might be someone in the house. How did he say it? I think I did ask, like, what? Like, why? You know, and like, what? Like, because his voice was like, get outside now. And he's like, I think there might be someone in the house. And I'm like, oh, or I'm like, oh no. And I freak out. I grab Puka. I'm outside. Like, my heart is racing. James checks the whole house, top to bottom. And he's so confused. He comes out and he's like, okay, this is really weird. I don't know what's going on. But when I went in the bedroom to go check on Puka when we got home, I didn't see him in there. And I found him in the bathroom. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And like my heart sank to my stomach. And I'm like, that's so weird. Like why? Like the door was shut. Like why is our dog just like in the bathroom? Like what? Like legitimately, it just was weird because we didn't leave him in the bathroom. We left him in the bedroom. And so he was just like sitting in the middle of the bathroom, just like, hey guys. Like it to us felt like someone came in the house and like was scouring the house or something and put him in the bathroom to like not bark or I don't even know. We just couldn't really make sense of it. It really freaked me out. So we ended up setting up a camera to see what was going on. I think it happened one more time and we're like, he's getting in somehow. We have 2 big barn doors that are in our bedroom and we set up a camera to see what was going on. Legitimately, when we would leave, he would like literally rock these doors and like with his head and his little body, he would rock these doors and like wedge himself in and then eventually wedge it enough that he could run through and get in the bathroom, but the door would still kind of be closed. And so it was just hilarious. And we, of course, stopped shutting the bathroom door. We're like, fine, you need to be in here. That's great. We will just leave this open and that's fine. So that was hilarious. I love that video. It makes me laugh. His persistence, like, what are you even doing? Something that has been really amazing that is feeling like a gift in the middle of all of this pain is James and I feel so close right now, and our bond is strengthened, and we're really leaning on each other in different ways. And it's been this unusual like feeling of, it's not even joy, it's just there's this like connection and support. And there's always something, like I'm convinced of this, so convinced of this. Whatever you are going through, there is always some kind of silver lining. There's something there if you're willing to see it that can help pull you through any situation. There is always just a little bit of good, even in your darkest moments. And if you're going through losing anything, it's that pain of like wanting it back so badly and not being able to wrap your brain or your hands or anything like you want it back so bad. Lean on people that love you and let that support be healing. It's there. And I think it's a beautiful thing to go through some of this stuff. Like if you're willing to see it, like it doesn't mean that it feels better or it doesn't hurt, because this is going to rock me for a while. James is definitely taking this incredibly hard. I don't think I've seen him like this. Like James has gone through a lot of loss too. His mom passed, his very best friend passed pretty shortly after. That was a really tough time. Puka was definitely by our side, kind of helping us cope through those really tough moments in life. Yeah, Puka just like had a special way with James and would calm him down and was so good for him. And again, that tie to his mom was pretty big. So it's weird. Like I watched him grieve his mom and his friend, and that was terrible. Like it was awful. It really was. Like we went through that. But this, for him, it's been heartbreaking because it's just different. It's just different. And I just wouldn't expect that losing a dog would be this different. He was reading all the comments on Instagram, like watching that reel that I made over and over. And it's just been really nice to have the support, and we appreciate it. And we know that Puka was a part of so many people's lives just because we share so much online. So we really, really appreciate that. And it's been so healing and so good. Yeah. Time for mascara. Am I really ready for that? I'm like about to cry again. I'm hearing a therapist in my brain. Like, I always want to figure things out. Like, how long will I be grieving for? Like, how long will this feeling be here? Like, what is this? Why is this? How is this? And I remember in a therapy session one time, I was just like, man, I think I really do suffer from depression. Like, I think I do. And she's like, you don't have depression. You have an intimate relationship with sadness. And that has stuck with me my whole adult life. You have an intimate relationship with sadness. I don't think it's the worst thing if you're able to find ways to cope and get yourself out of that fog, because it's a real fog. It's real. To feel deeply can be a great thing. There's that silver lining again, you know? Well, made it through that the best I know how, and it's going to be lonely in this studio. And Puka will forever be missed. He made a permanent impact on my heart and on the hearts of many people out there. And thank you for helping me through this as I kind of hop back into normal life. And thanks for listening to all of my funnier, happier moments with Puka. He was just such a special dog. And I love him always. And just thanks for being with me through this. We did end up burying him in the backyard, and we have him underneath a crepe myrtle tree that is going to be white flowers for Puka Shell, and what an end of an era. Oof. Yeah, I guess I turned into a dog person. I don't know how to close this video. Announcing that this happened makes it really real, I guess. But I love sharing my life, all of the good. and most of the bad. I'm just so grateful to have this as a career, and how special that I do get to share so much of myself, and that we got to share Puka. So I'm gonna take a big deep breath and go do my day and try little by little to kind of get back to normal. But I needed to honor Puka Shell and share with you guys and not just breeze over this. So thank you for sharing this time with me and all the stories and a little bit of the pain. And I love you guys so much. I will see you all in my next video. Mwah.